Seen here arriving for an earlier hearing. Known as Mad Ash, he was said to have been involved with at least 18 girls, grooming and abusing them from as young as 11.
It's been 16 years since it first happened, and I feel like I can't move on with my life or get closure.
Jessica fell under his manipulative grasp at 14. She was abducted and forced to have sex. He claimed he believed she was older, even though he used to meet her from school.
Very quickly he started being controlling. I wasn't allowed to do anything without his permission. He isolated me from friends and family, and it became that the only person in my world was him. And he were very violent towards me. There were times when I thought he was actually going to kill me.
Some of the abusers called them white trash and spat at them. When they reached a certain age or became pregnant, the girls were cast aside. Mohammed Shafiq is a distant relative of the Hussein brothers.
These sort of men have a very negative and in many cases a racist attitude towards white young girls. And for too long, as a society, as a Pakistani community, we've turned a blind eye to these sort of crimes.
Blind eyes too in the council and amongst local police, afraid or unwilling to take action despite many of the girls being in care. Political correctness played a part. The court has also heard the Husseins were close to some police officers and politicians. That's why justice has been a long time coming, and why so many other victims are still waiting. Dan Johnson, BBC News at Sheffield Crown Court.
Well, after the trial ended, we heard from DCI Martin Tate from South Yorkshire Police, and he paid tribute to the women who came forward and gave evidence.
This lengthy trial marks the culmination of a 2.5-year investigation by South Yorkshire Police, the Crown Prosecution Service and Rotherham Council into the systematic and organised sexual abuse of young girls in Rotherham. Even more importantly, the verdict today marks a crucial milestone for those victims and survivors who endured years of violent and horrific sexual abuse at the hands of these vile individuals. They've shown incredible bravery, reliving vicious and traumatic events for the courts that for many of these young women completely shattered their lives and caused life-changing damage. I can't begin to put into words the trauma that these women experienced at such a young age. For their courage and for their support of this investigation, I am eternally thankful, and I can't really express how pleased I am for them. I'm pleased that their voices have finally been heard, believed, and that those responsible have been publicly held to account for the crimes. The Criminal Investigation Team has had incredible support from the Vulnerable Victims Project and voluntary agencies such as GROW and Sheffield YWCA. They employ fantastic people who are extremely passionate about supporting victims, and I can't thank them enough. I also want to recognise our team of prosecution barristers who have guided our victims through this process and done an outstanding job of prosecuting this case at court. 2 defendants were found not guilty by the jury, and whilst of course I am disappointed, I fully respect the verdict and the legal system that I work to. This prosecution covers a 16-year period with offences dating from 1987 to 2003. Today we have secured the conviction of 6 individuals with 45 criminal offences. We accept there is still much to do. I have an extremely dedicated and passionate team, and we will regroup tomorrow with the same enthusiasm for the next stage of the investigation. I can only hope that the victims out there see the result today and the work of the agencies involved throughout this investigation to bring this case before the courts. I hope this gives them the confidence to come forward and tell someone what happened or may still be happening. If victims of sexual abuse come to the police, we will help them, we will support them and do everything we can to put these criminals responsible in prison where they belong.
Now, child sexual exploitation in Rotherham is